Hello and welcome to Crux Investor. Caught up earlier today with Brad Langille, the CEO of GoGold. And we talked to him about the PEA that came out on Los Ricos South. We talked about the drill program in 2021 and what it could mean for the district. If you want our thoughts on any of those topics, the conversation broadly, and of course the company itself, you can find that at cruxinvestor.com/club, where you can also find detailed company analysis and reporting. We've got training courses on there to help you with your own diligence process. There's commentary from experts from around the world on a variety of companies and commodities exclusively for club members, plus summaries of other interviews that we've done just to save you some time. Plus there's a thriving community of investors sharing their thoughts and ideas with each other in a nice civil manner in an area free of abuse, trolling and judgment. Wouldn't that be nice? So go along there and join them at cruxinvestor.com/club. I think you'd like it. Plus leave us your thoughts below. We do get back to absolutely everyone. And give us a like, it'd be much appreciated. And if you want to see what we talked about today, take a look in the description below. Brad, how are you doing, sir?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. But you're down in Mexico, aren't you? How are things down there?
They're pretty good. You know, I'm in the state of Chihuahua in our country office here, and good news here. The state was in code red, and it's just been reduced to yellow. So
right.
The hospitals are not overcrowded or anything. It's getting much better here in Chihuahua, actually.
Good news. I'm actually doing a show with the Mexican government in 2 weeks' time. We've got some Mexican companies coming on talking about doing business in Mexico. So I will be asking a pretty similar question. Life back to normal. Great. That's what we want to hear. Well, look, talking of good news, we saw a press release. PA came out for Los Ricos South. You happy?
Yeah, we're very happy. You know, we consider it to be a very high. When I say high level, high quality, sorry, is a better term for it, PEA. We put a lot of work into the costing and went out and actually got quotes on mining, got a lot of actual quotes on about 60% of the components in the mill. So we feel very good about the costing around it. And hey, it's $295 million US net asset value. And if you go to spot, it's over 400 million. And it's just a start, first target.
Right. So I mean, tell me about this, because it's only 22 months into Los Ricos South, right? Why did you feel the need to go so early on getting this up?
Well, I think the reason is, we're seeing as the company's growing here, a couple of reasons. We want people to be able to see economics of the target.
Right.
And we felt this will have really good economics. And again, this is the first target in the south. And when we went in here 22 months ago, we had all the claims we needed in the south. So we're enough that we could focus on a target. We drilled 35,000 meters. 22 months into this, we have a resource, a significant resource. And when we have now 22 months, we have a PEA. When a company is growing, and we've seen this before, with companies like Gammon, which we started and grew to be over $2 billion, you definitely get a different group of shareholders all the way along. Now we start to attract, along with some great retail shareholders, we start to attract some more bigger institutions. And they like having, a PEA where they can build their financial model around that. And then they're very interested in what we're doing in the north because, our team feels that's going to be very big. But they like to put the meat on the bones. This PEA kind of puts the meat on the bones for them. They do their financial model around it.
Right. Okay.
And they get.
Yeah, I can remembering back to my banking days. It gets people excited because they're thinking, they'll need my money. I better start talking to them now, and I can smell a bonus coming on. But that's their driver. What's your driver?
Well, the driver for me, I think of the company and I think of the growth of the company, and remembering, for us, yes, it's about the stock. I'm the second largest shareholder of the company, but I've been doing this long enough that now in my 28th year of doing this, that I realize, you'll see companies out there and it's a stock. It's about building a business. And it's about telling the world about what you're accomplishing, and it'll be reflected in the value of your market cap. So I see GoGold, and I think, we've got an operating mine out here in Parral. We've been operating for 6 years now. We have 8 more years of reserves, and it's generating 2.4 million ounces a year. And it's generating for us, it has been generating these prices over $2 million US a month of free cash flow, which has been funding everything. And we look at that and say, okay, well, what's the next progression for the company? We got into Los Ricos 22 months ago, and obviously it's been a real catalyst of growth for us. And so what next? Next is we say, well, look, this is the start. I have the PA here in my head. This is the start of the next mine. This is, down in the south, we'll have a team there, and what they're going to do is continue to do engineering this year, and they'll do more metallurgy, and they'll do that final engineering, and they'll move that thing closer to being a mine. And in 2022, that construction decision, there's GoGold's next mine, and it'll be a nice one. But talk about pipeline. Look at the north. We feel that thing is far, far bigger, and so we're growing up there aggressively now. When you have $56 million US in the bank, when you're making $2 million a month of free cash flow, and that's the nice thing for an exploration company, to have that cash flow coming in the door. Then you can be very aggressive on what you think your next future pipeline is in the progression of your mining company. And that's going to be Los Ricos North, and that's where we're doing 100,000 meters of drilling over the next 12 months. And we're going to, I believe we're going to find a lot up there. And that is what will put this company in the spotlight. I've been doing this for a long time. My 28th year, 25 years down here in Mexico. And, I was fortunate in some ways. My very first project in Mexico ended up being a very large one. We built 2 mines here. We've essentially built 4 mines in Mexico so far. And I look at that and I say, well, wow, if I hit Los Ricos back in 1999 in Ocampo, and the experience I gained in Ocampo, and the balance sheet we have in Los Ricos, and the cash flow we have the balance sheet we have in the GoGold, and the asset Los Ricos, and the cash coming in the door from Parral, wow, what we could do. And that experience from building all those mines.
Well, but
we got it all.
That's what attracted me to the story last year in terms of the track experience. But what I'm interested in is the way that you've gone about doing it. Obviously, Parral, $2.2 million contribution, free cash flow, very nice, and any junior would like that, and that says something. Getting the PEA done and saying to the market, "Hey, I think I believe we can build another mine here." And you talked about working that up. It could be 290 million. It could be $400 million NPV, depending on spot price at any one moment. But it says something to the institutions. It says something to people who want to lend you the money. But you're more interested in seeing what the opportunity is up in the north. So are you controlling when or how quickly Los Ricos South moves forward?
Oh, no, we really are. I mean, we are controlling that. And we've got here at a very aggressive pace in Los Ricos South. And we're going to be still very aggressive. We don't think there's an issue. We can run them parallel, that we can be advancing Los Ricos South very quickly.
That's what I was asking.
And
got it.
Yeah, and in the north, we can be advancing that very quickly as well. In fact, we want to have that first resource out in the north. The first, by no means the last, in the north. By we feel it's going to be very significant for size resource, and we're thinking September, October we'll have it done. We're much better at predicting it's going to be big than the timing, but we think September, October we're going to have it done.
Okay, fine.
We'll get that.
And you've allocated a very big budget for that. I think it's probably one of the biggest in Mexico currently to drive that. Why? I know you raised some money before Christmas to allow you to do this because the market was good. Share price was good. Why the urgency on that? What are you seeing? Is it a case of taking advantage of the market today, or you worried about the market coming off? I mean, why so quick?
Well, as far as the market, I think, and I've been through many cycles here, and I look at it, and we're better at building mines than we are predicting the market. So we always try to focus on things that have good margin, that are good mines in the bottom of the market, good mines in the top, great mines in the top of the market. Personally, myself, I think it's going to be a good cycle here. I think there's a lot of reasons why the commodity price is going to be strong for a long time. That doesn't mean there won't be pullbacks. There won't be pullbacks. There will be pullbacks, but ultimately, I think the biggest thing is that there's a lot of money being created here, and there's still a lot of issues in the world, and they're not probably going away, and that's going to drive, gold and silver. Part of that kind of green revolution going on as well. Silver is one of those metals that they use a lot in solar panels and such. So I think we're going to have a good market. I think we're well positioned. I don't think I've ever been better positioned in a company to have this balance sheet, this cash flow, and most of all, this asset. Like when we did some of these early calls, I said, I think it might be the best thing in 20 years. I think this is the best thing I've ever in my career.
So, clarify this for me. We said this is the best asset, right? You've got like Los Ricos South, yeah. Los Ricos North. Are you viewing them as one asset?
Yeah, I view it as one district. I think that we now have a good sequencing of events here. Producing mine, we have now. Cash flow, we have now. Balance sheet, we have now. Next, Los Ricos South. Next mine. We got her on paper now. We're going to move that to a mine. But the best is Los Ricos North. That's just that to us is a very, very large system. We're aggressively putting drill holes into it. And, we can talk about exploration potential, and that's, mineralized rock, and we can make our estimates on, what's the strike length, what could the depth be, what's the width. And we do that in Los Ricos North of what we know today. And we say, wow, that has the exploration potential of being multiples of what we have in Los Ricos South. And now all we need to do is put a lot of drill holes into that and start applying grades to it. And that's how we get the ounces. And look, I really think we just have everything going for the company. We have a good pipeline. We have good production, good cash flow, strong balance sheet. And the most is the Los Ricos district, in particular in 2021, Los Ricos North. That's what's going to put us into the spotlight, I believe. And I think by the end of 2021, we will be recognized as one of the really important silver assets in the business. That's where I think we're headed.
So what do you do with that, right? You built it the right way. You're excited about it being the best project and asset that you've ever been involved with. How do you move it forward? How do you stay in control of this thing? Because you've got Los Ricos South, which could be a mine. You've got Los Ricos North, you're telling us could be even better than that. How do you tackle it financially? How do you come at it in terms of how you spend your money between now and getting into production? What's the plan?
Well, I think there's the progression, and again, I would say we can do things in parallel, because I do think we should be advancing Los Ricos South towards mine. And think about it for a minute. We talk about at least the first years in Los Ricos South of more than 8 million ounces a year of silver production. Plus Parral, that's over 10 million ounces of silver production. I know we have something very big in Los Ricos North. That probably will be the big company maker for GoGold becoming a very, very significant company. And, what could happen? I mean, a lot of times in my career, I've watched companies say, hey, we have a great exploration asset. The majors are going to have this. We can never wait for that. I'm the second largest shareholder. I think I'm well aligned with our shareholders. I want, want to increase in the value of the company. And of course, I want to, eventually we all want to make money off this. But we can't sit there and wait for that major to come and take us out. When you're doing the right things, which is building your mines, advancing what is a real gem, what is really something big in exploration, that's when probably most likely, people start to really pay attention. But we're not going to sit here just waiting. We're moving ahead like we have in the last 22 months. You look at the next 22 months, this will be a totally transformed company again. That's, my prediction.
Okay, so we're going to see lots more drilling results coming out of Los Ricos North over the coming months, and that's going to help inform you as to how the story moves forward, where you focus, and indeed, what kind of conversations you're having with people outside. Because I think that's the interesting bit to me. Once people start to understand the potential of the scale here, that's when the phone calls start to come in.
Will, I think the view by the end of 2021 will be that this is an important asset in the silver space, a very important asset, and driven mostly by Los Ricos North now.
Okay.
And that'll be our next mine, Los Ricos South, but Los Ricos North.
Brilliant. Look, Brad, thanks for the catch up on this. Always fantastic to hear what you're doing, because you always say what you do and do what you say. And I've stopped asking you the difficult questions, because I think you're going to do what you say you're going to do. So stay in touch. Let us know what's happening, as it happens, especially around that drill bit, because exciting time for 2021, I suspect.
Well, we've built a lot of mines, but at heart, I'm a geologist. I am a geologist, and at heart, I love the exploration business, and I love the fact that I think we have the best asset, the best ground to explore that I've had in my career. So it's going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to 2021. I got to tell you, Matt, I'm having more fun than probably any other time in my career. So great. Look forward to talking to you through the year.